Hey guys, and welcome back to the Grow Your Brain YouTube channel. Today I'm going to read an informational text entitled, Who Needs Bees? Do you ever wonder why some insects exist, especially bees, that can be kind of scary because you know that they can sting? Well, bees have a special job and they're super important to our environment and the way we live. Bees are also a special kind of insect. They're a social insect. Most insects, when they grow up to be adults, live alone. Not bees. They stay together in a group called a colony, and they protect that colony. So today, we are going to find out why we need bees and why they're so special. Who needs bees? Many people call bees pests. But did you ever think to call them farmers? You should. 1 out of every 3 foods you eat was farmed by bees. Let's read that again. 1 out of every 3 foods you eat was farmed by bees. Without bees, there would be a lot less of the foods you love to eat. Look at the things in these pictures. There's an onion, which you probably don't like onions, but apples, carrots, cherries, cucumbers, oranges, watermelon, peaches, none of that would exist without bees. Oh, I need to learn more about this. There wouldn't be much chocolate, and there would be no almonds at all. This is because bees act like farmers. Their work helps plants make the food we eat. How? Let's read to find out. Now let's see if you can remember that word we learned while we were still in school about what bees do. It starts with p, 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 p sound. See if you can hold that word in your brain or come up with it before I get to it. This is a seedling. This seedling is a baby apple tree. It needs lots of sun, water, and food to grow. This seedling won't grow into a big apple tree this year. It can take 5 to 8 years for one apple tree to grow big enough to make apples. Do you remember what this is called when we see something in a circle like that in the stages of its growth? That's right. It's called a life cycle. This life cycle starts with the seed and then the seedling, and then it grows and grows and grows until it is a big apple tree, and then it produces the fruit. And then once this dies and decomposes, then it starts all over again. Adult trees make tiny buds. In the spring, the buds open. The apple tree is covered with lots of small flowers. The bees do something with the flowers that start with p, p, p sound. What was it called? This is pollen. Pollen looks like yellow dust. Each flower makes pollen. To make apples, a tree needs pollen from other apple trees. How can the pollen get from tree to tree? Think you're getting it. Bees move the pollen from tree to tree. Here's how it happens. The bee has lots of tiny hairs on its body. It is furry. The hairy bee lands on the flower to get nectar. Lots of pollen sticks to the bee's hair. The bee flies from tree to tree and gets covered with pollen from lots of flowers from lots of trees. The flowers are ready to capture the pollen they need. All flowers have pistils. The pistil is a small tube that sticks up from the middle of the flower. The pistil is sticky at the top. When the bee lands on the sticky pistil, some of the pollen gets stuck to it. Now, does the bee know he's doing this? What do you think? A tube grows out of each piece of pollen. The tubes all race to the bottom of the pistil. The first pollen tube to reach the bottom starts a new apple in one egg. As the ovule grows, the petals fall off the flowers. Tiny apples begin to grow. The apples grow all summer long. They need sunlight, food, and water. When apples come, they are ripe. They are ready to be picked and eaten. Bees help plants grow all around the world. In Brazil, bees help Brazil nuts grow from trees. In Norway, bees grow berries. In China, bees help grow tomatoes. In Kenya, bees help grow cucumbers. The next time you see some bees buzzing around, just let them work. They're farming for you. So bees and what was that word? Pollination was the word we were looking for. Honeybees collect pollen and nectar to live and at the same time pollinate most fruits, nuts, and vegetables. Out of the top 100 human food crops, 70 are pollinated by bees. Bee-pollinated farm food crops are worth $15 billion a year in the U.S. This means bees are greatly needed. A honeybee visits 50 to 100 flowers during a pollen collection trip. Domestic honeybees live in colonies cared by a person called a beekeeper. There are about 2.4 million domestic bee colonies in the U.S. Some beekeepers transport their colonies, moving from field to field, pollinating crops and producing honey and beeswax. Almonds are 100% dependent on honeybee pollination. More than 1 million colonies are used each year in California alone just to pollinate almond flowers. So would you say that bees are pretty important? Yes, I would. And guess what? They don't even know how important they are. They are just trying to survive and protect their colony. They don't even know how important they are to us. So the next time you see a bee, think about how important it is to how we live in our environment. And don't be as afraid of it as you were before. Thanks for joining us again, and come back later for more read alouds.